Hey everybody, Cliff Ravenscraft here from podcastanswerman.com and Podcasting A to Z. And this is a short video to give you an understanding of the basics of the SoundByte software by Black Cat Systems. Now, before I tell you about this colorful display of buttons, I want to explain to you where you can find this particular software. Now, I want to warn you ahead of time, if you were to go to blackcatsystems.com, please don't let the look of their website fool you. I'm convinced that they are attempting to win every single year the ugliest website on the web award, and I'm sure that they've been successful at doing that. But anyway, if you go to blackcatsystems.com and then under audio programs, you look for SoundByte. And as soon as you click on SoundByte, you will see the software that I am using here. Now, if you were to click the little price bubble up there, the starburst, you will see that they do have SoundByte Lite, SoundByte with 5 carts, SoundByte with 50 carts. I simply use SoundByte Lite, one rack of carts, for $39. So that is the version that I use. My understanding from what I hear is that SoundByte Lite is now available in the Mac App Store as well, so that's an option for you. But anyway, again, this is SoundByte Lite for $39, and again, you can pick that up at blackcatsystems.com. Now, once you get the software installed and it's up and running, I want to just tell you real quickly about the preferences. So if you just go into, oh, not there. Let me do that again here. I'm going to go and open up my preferences. Anyway, right here, there are a lot of different things that you can go in and play with. And I just want to tell you, when it comes to all of this stuff up here, I don't pay any attention to it. As far as I'm concerned, that stuff doesn't even exist to me. Whatever it is, when it is set up, that's what it is. I don't even look at it for a second. The only thing that matters to me under the main preferences is sound output device. Sound output device is what's going to allow me to choose where the audio goes out from my computer. So if you only have one audio output on your computer, chances are it's already set up by default and it'll go out whatever your speaker system is or whatever the case may be. That's all you got. Now I also have a USB iMic audio sound card on here. So I could choose to send the audio out via my iMic USB system. However, I don't want that. I instead want to make sure that all the audio goes out the main speaker jack out of the iMac, because that's where the cable for the audio clips from my computer goes from the computer into the mixer. So that's the one that I want. Now your setup may be different. So if you're looking for how to change it to where you can decide what output device the audio goes out, it is in the SoundByte preferences panel. All right, I'm going to go ahead and click cancel on that. Don't need to worry about that anymore. So now we have SoundByte up and running here. And what it is it's a piece of software that allows you to queue up a bunch of different audio clips. So for example, one of the things that I could do is play little tiny audio clips from a TV show like...
It's an interesting theory.
Or...
then your theory is wrong.
Exactly. And then, of course, sometimes I will do an introduction to an interview, and right before I transition, I would actually say something like, and now let's go ahead and turn to that interview right now. All right. And then, of course, there are other clips on here. In fact, here, I'm just going to give you a sample of what I can do. Oh, by the way, these sliders here, these are volume controls. I typically use the volume controls just to adjust the volume at which these will play back. Like, for example, sometimes you'll get an audio clip that's louder than others and some that are softer than others. And rather than trying to fix that with my slider volume on my computer or on my mixer, I use these sliders here. So for example,
Podcast Answer Man
that's about the right level, and that's way too loud. So I could actually bring that one down here.
Take the sound.
Like that.
This summer.
And see, so basically I know that I can adjust these ahead of time and kind of play with them to find out what the right level is. So let me just show you how this would work in actual production. I will, oh, by the way, when I'm doing, like I said, these sliders do control the volume. However, I would normally control the volume of putting it down and putting it up with my mixer rather than the slider. But for the demonstration of this video, when I talk over the Podcast Answer Man intro music, I am going to use the slider. So here we go. Check this out. Podcast Answer Man, episode number 300.
Entertaining, educational, and encouraging content that makes a difference. This is GSPN.TV. Join the community.
Hello, everyone. This is Michael Hyatt from This Is Your Life and MichaelHyatt.com. You're listening to the man who has trained more people to podcast than anyone else on the planet. My friend Cliff Ravenscraft. He is the Podcast Answer Man.
Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to another episode of this fake podcast. As you can tell, I have turned the music down really low while I'm talking, and of course, if I want to stop talking for a moment, I could. That's right, my friends, and if I wanted to say something a little bit more, I could kind of fade it back down, but as I see the music's about to end, I kind of slowly fade it up. And then as the music slightly fades out, I say, hello, everybody, and welcome back to the show, blah, 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 blah. And that, my friends, is how I use this software. It comes in very handy. I have the intro to various different shows on here. I have, let's see here. We had Life, Love, and the Movies. I had The Hunger Games. Stephanie and her friend do the Authentic Life Radio. So I have the ability to queue up a lot of different audio clips. Now the next thing that I want to show you real quickly, and I'm just going to bring the music all the way down on the mixer here, but I'm going to click this play button. Now this is a 3-minute and 30-second audio clip, this music that I play at the end of Podcast Answer Man. And there are a couple things here. Number one, this is telling you how long the audio has been playing. This over here tells you how long the audio is. But what's most important to me when I'm doing the end of my show is the countdown timer that tells me that right now I have 3 minutes and 4 seconds until the actual music is about ready to end. And I usually get down to where it says 10 seconds, and that's when I know, boom, you're done. And this is what makes it sound like I'm a professional, to where my timing is impeccable and perfect, because I know exactly when that music's going to end. It's not because I've been listening to the music the whole time, but just watching the countdown timer and knowing that that is giving me my cue of when I am finished. All right, now how do you get audio clips onto your soundboard? Now this is pretty easy. You can actually use WAV files, MP3 files, AIFF files. If they're on your desktop, you can drag them in, or if they're inside of one of your folders in your Finder, you can just take that and drag it right on there. There's the applause button. I'll go ahead and throw a chainsaw on here, and a doorbell, and also maybe even a sneeze. All right, so we've got all of those items that are now on the board. And what I want to do is I want to show you a couple different options here. First of all, let's queue up and let's get this audio to, oh, by the way, I didn't tell you about this slider over here. This slider right up here is what we call the overall volume. This will actually control the volume of your entire computer, whereas each of these sliders control the volume of that, just the individual track. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the music, or turn my mixer up to where it normally would be, and I'm going to click here. Actually, that doesn't sound too bad. Chainsaw sounds okay. Okay, now doorbell seems a little bit loud, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring doorbell right down to about there, and then try it again. That actually sounds really good. And sneeze actually sounds a little bit too much, and that sounds better. So what I wanted to do is I want to tell you that you can actually individually go in and control volume for each of these tracks, so that you know that when you click to play them in your show, they're not they're not too loud. And so, and as you know, or as you'll come to find out if you don't know, many audio clips come in at different volume levels. Now, you can fix it to where they're all the same volume level in your editing software if you want to. This is a much easier way. You just drag the file on there and stuff. Now, let's go to this applause-cheer. And what if I wanted to, let me tell you how I just pulled that up. Let's just say I want to rename this and give it a different color. So I'm going to right-click on that button and it'll pull this up. And if I want to, I can put applause right here. And that's, instead of having the name of the file, I just wanted to say applause. And I want to make this yellow. So I'm going to click on set button color and click yellow. And if I hit save, now it's got applause right there. And let's take doorbell. Instead of saying doorbell.wave, we can say front door. You can set it anything that you want. And I'll give this green and click OK and hit save. So there we go. So I can click the applause and I can hit the front door. Now, by default, how this is set up is if you were to click it once and then click it again, clicking it once will get it to play. Clicking it again will get it to stop. That's a default behavior. So I can stop it. Now, what if I wanted the applause to fade out? I could right-click on here, and there's a little block in here where it's a little checkbox where it says fade out cart on click. And also, not only that, but you can even change the fade out rate, how fast it will fade out. But let's just go ahead and do it where it's by default. And now if I click the applause button and click again, it'll fade out rather than abruptly stopping. Okay, so you can see the volume is slowly going down. Now at that rate, the audio clip probably could be finished before it actually fades out all the way. So in fact, it did. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the fade out rate and I'm going to change it to 6. All right, and then we'll hit save and I'm going to do the same thing. All right, so you saw that it actually faded out much faster. Now, of course, I don't really use fade out all that much. There is one other option on here that is pretty interesting. You could actually do click, pauses, fade, playback. So you could go in and do that stop and then pick up where you left off. All right, and hitting the escape button will stop it. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click and undo that. I will tell you that loop really isn't my favorite. It actually has a little pause in the sound when you're looping, so I don't really do that. I can't imagine why I would want to play a clip backwards, but you could. So there you go. That's the backwards. And really those are the only ones that I play with. You can actually play with some other ones. Like for example, here's one I guess could be useful. If I wanted to, I could actually lock the volume down right there. So this means that once I have that volume set, I'm not going to be able to change that anymore. I'm trying to change it, but instead of letting me move the slider, the volume is locked. So that one actually could be very useful if that's something you know you're always going to want the volume to be at that level. So I'm just going to unlock that and click there. Now let's see. Basically, I told you could change the title of the button, what the button actually shows. You can, we talked about the lock. We talked about the play backwards, the click to pause, click to fade out. And again, you can play around with the other stuff, all of that stuff. We talked about the fade out rate. We didn't talk about hotkey. If you want to, you could actually create a hotkey. And I'm going to actually create the hotkey number, actually the hotkey. I'm wondering if I can find one that's not used already. Let's try hotkey Y. So if I just hit the Y button on my keyboard, it'll play the button that is assigned to that hotkey. There you go. That is an option for you. I do have the hotkeys set up, although I very rarely use those. Let's see. So we did all of that. Set button color is something I use all of the time. And I don't do the repeat or the pitch or the rate. The sound output is going to always be, for me, it's always going to be the same as the main preferences. So that's pretty much it. The only other thing that I think I need to tell you here in this menu is how do you delete these? This is a question that comes up very often. And before I tell you how to delete a file, a sound clip off of here, I want to show you can drag and drop these clips from one place to the other. So for example, I just moved the chainsaw down, and you do this by the little black arrow in the corner. Now what happens is if you drag it to an empty space, it's no big deal. There we go. Make sure you grab the right spot. Anyway, but I do want to tell you that you can see that my cruise promo is right here.
This summer, join Cliff and Stephanie and the GSPN.TV.
All right, now if I want to, I can actually drag the front door over to that button. And basically what it does is it reverses where those buttons are. And so I could do that all day long and swap those back and forth. All right, so I'm just going to put the cruise promo back up there. And now I just want to delete all of these buttons. So I'm going to right click on the applause, and then I click clear and clear. I'm going to right click on front door, click clear and clear. I'm going to right click on sneeze and clear. And I'm going to right click on chainsaw and clear. So that is the basics of SoundByte, how the software works. I hope this has been helpful to you. And thank you very much for taking the time to go through and watch this video. Make sure that you tell other people about podcasting A to Z and podcastanswerman.com. Thank you very much.